Welcome to the Chop Seat, where Braves country meets the big leagues. Your host Vic is here to break down everything from truest part to the top of the standings across the league. From walk-offs to wild trades, this is your seat for everything baseball, but a heavy dose of chop. So grab your glove and settle in, because the Chop Seat is open.
Welcome to the Chop Seat, your favorite place for Braves baseball. I'm your host, Vic, and today is Thursday, August 20th. I said I was going to do an episode on Friday, but I completely messed up my scheduling. I realized I won't be able to make an episode, record an episode on Friday, so I said I got to do the show today, Thursday. So it kind of works out because the Braves already wrapped up that series against the Minnesota Twins. And then earlier today, they played a game against Chicago White Sox, which was that makeup game from earlier on in the year. The Braves had already lost that series. They lost the 2 games that they played against the White Sox earlier in the year. So this was kind of to avoid the sweep. And talking about sweeps, they got swept, by the Minnesota Twins. It was a series to forget. Not a good look for our Braves. But thankfully, they were able to bounce back today in dominant fashion, to be honest, on the pitching side, which was a good sight to see. We're going to break that down. We're going to see what went on during that game. And then we're going to look at the Braves forecast, the series that is coming up starting tomorrow against the best team in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers. So we're going to get into that as well. We're going to see what's going on around the league. I kind of have no notes written down, so I'm going to be winging it. So if you're tuning in, just bear with me. Also, the tickets are still available. The second pair of tickets to the August 30th game against the Colorado Rockies, they were not claimed yet again. That's already 2 times that the second pair of tickets have not been claimed. It's the 3rd time the charm. We'll see. We're going to do the wheel of names again. I have it up there on the tab. I'm going to show it on the screen. If you're watching the video version of this episode, you'll be able to see it. It'll be available on YouTube. So let's get into that. Let's do that. Let's get the fun part. Let's get started with that fun part. So let's go into our first segment.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes, where we break down the previous Braves series, and Tomahawk Takes is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSEAT20 and you're going to save yourself $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. You can use it to go watch a Braves game. You can watch it. You can use it to watch a concert, a show. NFL season is going to be starting soon. If you're a big football fan, you can use code CHOPSEAT20 for that as well. Any event that you need tickets for, you can find in SeatGeek, and then you can put it in your cart. Put CHOPSEAT20 as your promo code, and you're going to save $20 off your first purchase. Before we break down these series, let's go into the wheel of names to see who wins the giveaway for the second pair of tickets for the 3rd time. Let me get this ready here. Let me share the screen off the rip so you guys can see what's going on. Let me, what was it that I did last time? Add to stage. Here we go. Let me go to this tab here. All right, you guys see the wheel, it's spinning. You see the names up there. We're going to shuffle a few times, shuffle it around. There we go. You hear the clicking. Let's go. Let's spin. Click to spin. This is to win the second pair of tickets that have been unclaimed for 2 times in a row. The winner is the _4_u_love on Instagram. You are the winner. Congratulations to you. Hopefully you're able to claim these tickets. How to claim the tickets? Of course, you got to be listening to this podcast right now. Hopefully you are. Hopefully you're able to claim them. And if not, we still got time. So we'll do another shuffling of the wheel of names if you don't claim your tickets this time. But congratulations to you. You have won the second pair of tickets to the Braves game against the Colorado Rockies that will be taking place Sunday, August 30th. Let me take this off. I think I took it off already. Yes, we did. Yep, that's wrapped up. Now let's get into the action. The unforgettable series was against the Minnesota Twins. The Braves did not look good at all. They lost all 3 games in Minnesota. They were outscored 14-7, and it was the first time the Braves got swept since late June. And if you remember, June was a very, very bad month for the Braves. Monday's game, Twins ended up winning 4-2. Martin Perez, he came into the game without allowing a run in 18 consecutive innings, but he allowed the first 6 Minnesota hitters to reach base. The Twins scored 4 runs before Atlanta recorded an out. Ronald Acuna Jr., he produced Atlanta's only scoring with a 2-run single in the top of the 5th, but that was all that the Braves were able to bring around the diamond. The Braves, they brought the tying run to the plate later on, but couldn't complete the comeback. The final line for Martin Perez was 5 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Again, very bad look for the Braves in Game 1. Game 2, Tuesday, Tyler Mahle, he pitched pretty darn well again. He only allowed 2 runs across 6 2/3 of an inning, but unfortunately, the Braves' offense was non-existent. Yet again, they only scored 1 run in this ball game. It was a 4-1 Twins victory here. The lone run for the Braves was brought in by Drake Baldwin when he hit a solo shot. Michael Harris, the second, he went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles in the ball game as well. But that was all. And Josh Bell had a 2-run homer in the first inning. That was pretty much all they needed. If they could have gone the whole entire game without scoring once again, that would have been game right there. It would have been 2-1. But again, they were able to score 2 more. Had some insurance runs against the Braves bullpen in the bottom of the 8th. That made it 4-1. That's the ball game. Braves cannot get into coming back into the ball game. That's GG's series loss. Now, Wednesday, you were trying to avoid the sweep. Are you able to do it? You got A.J. Smith-Shawver that was called up to be able to make the start. I forgot who was scheduled supposedly for this ball game. It was going to be Chris Sale, actually. He was going to be scheduled. Obviously, that has been pushed back. They brought up A.J. Smith-Shawver, as I just said. He allows 4 runs over 4 1/3 of an inning in his return from AAA. The Braves fall back a little bit in this ballgame. They were down 4-1. In the top of the 6th, Acuna, Lane Thomas, and Ozzie Albies, they all driving runs to tie the ball game, but the bullpen just couldn't hold on to preserve the comeback. That was it. Cody Clemens, he delivered a go-ahead single against Dylan Lee, who's been great. If you look at it the entire year, he's been great. He's just been a little rocky as of late. Again, it's a long season. It is what it is. Today, he had a great outing, which is good to see. But Cody Clemens had himself a game. He drove in 3 RBIs. Brooks Lee followed with another RBI single. And this was a game that Walt Weiss got ejected because Mauricio Dubon, he was rung up. He was rung up on a check swing. Home plate catcher didn't even try to go to first to appeal it. He called it himself. It wasn't that obvious. He should have checked down to first base, see what that first base umpire was thinking. He said, I don't need this guy. I can make this call on my own. Mauricio Dubon was fuming. He was going at it with the ump for a little bit. He said a few things he had to say. Walt Weiss comes out. He gets ejected. That probably was one of the highlights from the ball game for the Braves. But, it wasn't a good series for the Braves offensively. It really wasn't. Tyler Mahle had a great start, like we said. The other 2 starters, A.J. Smith-Shawver and Martin Perez, left a bit early in the game with some damage done to them. So it was kind of hard. The final game, like I said, the Braves did try and battle back, but bullpen could not hold on to the completing the comeback. So that's how the series went down. The concerns for the series, Braves only scored 7 runs. The offense not there. They went 8 for 43 with runners in scoring position during a 6-game stretch in which they've lost 5 times. So that needs to change. That really needs to change. And what happens, you put pressure on yourself when you fall behind early in the ball game. And then you force the bullpen to be able to come in and cover high pressure innings. That you can't play like that all the time. You can't play like that. I can't even remember when was the last time that the Braves won a game by a nice margin where you were able to save a lot of the bullpen guys and, maybe use a guy or two and that was it. And not even your high leverage guys. You know what I mean? It's been a while since we had a big win like that. So hopefully we see one like that coming soon. Because again, it's been a minute. All these games have been pretty close. The series with the Yankees, 1-run games. After that, for example, this series you got swept, but look, you had 2 runs, lost by 2 runs, you lost by 3, and then you lost by 2. So the games have been close. We need a game where the bats break out, the bats go crazy, and you're able to save some of your guys, especially your high leverage guys, and have somebody eat up some innings if you need to, and just get a nice refresher for a lot of the guys. But again, you can't always be trying to come back from behind. It's not going to give you good results, especially when it's a long season like that. And the lineup, they couldn't provide any support, especially with a great performance by Tyler Mahle yet again. So, I mean, we'll see if the Braves are able to turn that around in this big series that they got starting tomorrow against the Milwaukee Brewers. Positives, of course, Michael Harris. He had those 3 hits with 2 doubles on Tuesday's game. Drake Baldwin hitting his 21st homer. Very impressive from him. And they showed some fight on Wednesday, of course, erasing that 3-run deficit. So that was a positive. You saw them showing some fight, and you were hoping that it carried over to today's ball game against the Chicago White Sox. Remember, again, it was a makeup game from back. I don't even know when it was, minimum May or June. I can't even remember. Who knows? Somebody, if you know, let me know. I didn't take the time out to look back into the thing, but I think it was June, though. I think it was in June. But anyways, Grant Holmes was on the mound today for the Braves. This guy, we've been talking about having him move to the bullpen. He said, I got to shut all these people up. He had a no-hitter into the 7th inning, guys. No-hitter into the 7th inning. It was broken up by Andrew Benintendi when he singled off of him. He finished with 1 hit allowed across 6+ scoreless innings, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Didier Fuentes, Dylan Lee, and Raisel Iglesias, they finished the shutout. Iglesias, he recorded his 26th save of the season in this one. This was a good game for the bullpen. Everyone came in. Everyone was able to put out some fires and keep it moving, which was very good to see. So you had a guy that was struggling on the mound, Grant Holmes, be able to put in a good performance. And then you had another guy offensively came in and put a good performance that's been struggling. A guy that's been struggling came in, had a great performance. He actually drove in both Braves runs. It was a 2-0 final score victory for the Braves, and it was Austin Riley. Austin Riley was a guy that drove in the 2 runs. He goes 2 for 4. Mauricio Dubon went 3 for 4 and scored both runs. So it was very good to see, very refreshing to see Grant Holmes step up on the pitching side and be able to take care of business. And he went no-hitter into the 7th inning. Very impressive to see. And then you have Austin Riley on the other hand, a guy that's been struggling, but he's been keeping at it. He's been working. He's been trying to, turn things around. Very good to see him have a great game where he leads the Braves offense into a victory. So that completed the series. Chicago, like I said earlier, the White Sox, they still win the season series against the Braves 2-1, but the Braves avoid the sweep and ended their 3-game win streak, 3-game losing streak. I wish it was a win streak. Well, hopefully all you need is one to start a new one, a new win streak. So you got one today under your belt. Let's see if you're able to get 3 more on the road, make it a 4-game win streak. The scary part is the Phillies have been hot, guys. You've been losing these games. You got swept. You've been losing a lot of games back and forth. Phillies got hot. I don't know if they're playing today. Let me look this up real quick. Excuse me. I got something playing over here. Let me look this up here if the Phillies are playing. They might be off today. I think it was a 3-game set that they had with the Marlins. They're off today, but they did sweep the Miami Marlins. Thank you, Marlins, for nothing. Could at least won one game, but you don't. But the Phillies are hot, man. They won 6 in a row in that time where the Braves have been struggling a bit. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Braves are 4-6 in their last 10 ball games, and they have cut the lead down to 5 games. So it went from, what was it, 8.5, 9.5 the other week. They cut it down to 5 games. 5 games is very, very close. There's still plenty of time left to play baseball. So, you want to see that number go up some more, and you want to see somebody stop the Phillies because, again, they got way too close there for comfort. They're getting way too close. So hopefully, they're just, Braves are able to start playing better again, and just make a little bit more distance when it comes to the Phillies chasing us. So that's what we have for the Tomahawk Takes portion of today's episode. Now we're going to move on into the next segment and see what's going on around the league.
It's time for the MLB.
Welcome to the MLB, where we catch up with the action from around the league. What we got, we just mentioned on the Phillies sweeping the Marlins. They extended their winning streak to 6 games. And like I said, they reduced the Braves' lead in the division to only 5 games. The division is no longer completely comfortable. That is something that is very, very scary, especially when you think that the Braves and Phillies still have 7 head-to-head games remaining in September. So that is going to get scary and crazy in the final month of baseball, final month of regular season baseball. Heading out west, the Dodgers, they sweep the Rockies. The Dodgers have been slacking a little bit, losing games here and there, but they're able to sweep the Rockies. Talk about an opportune time to face the Colorado Rockies. When you're struggling, you see that Colorado name on your schedule, and you're saying, you know what, this is a perfect time to bounce back. Now 77-51, they're 2 games ahead of the Braves for the second spot in the National League. The White Sox, the team that we just played, they won 2 of 3. No, it wasn't the White Sox. It was the Cubs. The Cubs were the ones that walked off twice in the Crosstown Classic against the Chicago White Sox. That was a very exciting series. PCA had a walk-off there. They had another walk-off the following game. It was pretty crazy. The Mets, they end up taking 2 out of 3 from the Padres. They're starting to play a little bit better, huh, guys? Might be a little too late. Of course it is for the Mets. But, hey, let's see where the Mets are right now. Yeah, they've won 7 of their last 10 ball games. Let's see, 17 games back. How are they looking in the wild card? Wild card, they're still 10 games back, but realistically, they're still in it, guys. They're still in it. So we might have to shout them out when we do these standings just in a few minutes. So it was a crazy series there. There was a game where Fernando Tatis hit 2 homers. He also robbed Lindor of a grand slam out there in Citi Field. Crazy, crazy series there. A lot of good plays. What was it? Was it Carson Bench gunning out guys left and right? A series with a lot of highlights, I got to say. To be honest, it was a lot of highlights. But despite losing that series, the Padres still remain in the NL wild card race. What else we got? I think that was it, guys, for the series that went down that we want to focus on. Also, the series that are starting this weekend, got to keep an eye on that. You got the Cardinals at the Phillies. Like I said, again, for the 3rd time this episode, Phillies, the hottest team in baseball right now. They're putting some pressure on us, putting some pressure on the Braves. They'll be facing St. Louis. Still remains in striking distance of that final wild card spot. So that's going to be interesting. You got the Blue Jays at the Yankees this time. Last time it was Yankees up there in Toronto. Blue Jays coming into the BX to see what they can do against the Yankees. The Yankees are chasing Tampa Bay in the AL East, and they currently occupy the top wild card spot. So we'll see if the Blue Jays are able to make up some ground there against their division foes. You also have the Cubs at the Mariners. Seattle seems to be a little bit desperate of wins to remain relevant in the American League race. So we'll see how they're able to do against a very good Cubs team. And then you got the Twins at the Padres. Minnesota entering with some momentum after sweeping us. They'll be facing the Padres, who are also fighting for a National League wild card spot. And like we said in the previous episode, they've been having the best second half, one of the best second halves in all the majors. So we'll see. We'll see how, these series go down. It's going to be an exciting weekend, especially with that Cardinals, Phillies, Blue Jays, Yankees series. That's going to be pretty darn good. Standings as of right now, we're going to start out in the American League. We just mentioned them. The East, Tampa Bay 76-51, Yankees 71-55, 4.5 games back. Boston 68-59, 8 games back. They've been starting to slide down a little. American League Central, Chicago White Sox 66-61, Twins 63-65, 3.5 back. Cleveland 62-66, 4.5 back. Detroit 61-66, 5 games back. Kansas City Royals, they're trying to get into it. They won 5 in a row. But yeah, they're pretty far back. Then we go to the American League West. Houston Astros 64-63, just 1 game over 500. That's good enough to be in first in the American League West. Rangers 62-65, they're 2 games back. Seattle Mariners 60-68, 4.5 games back. National League West, you got the Dodgers 77-51. They're in first. San Diego Padres 68-60, 9 games back. Arizona 67-61, 10 games back, and they're missing Ketel Marte still. I don't know if you saw it, but he went. They put him on the restricted list. He had some issue out there. They were saying he didn't fly with the team to Boston, but then they said that they saw him at 11 o'clock at the hotel bar. And then they said they sent him back to Arizona to get his knees checked out or something like that. I don't know. Nothing else has been out about him, so I'm not really too sure what's going on there. But there's some funny business going there, so I don't know. Hopefully the guy's okay because he's a very good player, man. Very good player. Hopefully he's okay. But yeah, and the Diamondbacks really need him right now. If you ever needed this guy, it would be right now. You would need him for this final stretch of the season. National League Central, best team in baseball. Milwaukee Brewers 79-49. Cubs 74-54, 5 games back. National League East, Braves first place 75-53. Just 7 wins shy of having a winning season. So that would be nice to see. Just 7 more wins needed to have a winning season. Philly 70-58, 5 games back. Wild card picture, baby. Right now, if the season ended, Brewers, Dodgers, top 2 seeds, Braves win the division. Top wild card spot, Cubs, Phillies, and Padres. Arizona, 1 game back from the Padres. They would just miss it by 1 game. That would suck. Cardinals, 2.5. Miami, 4. Pittsburgh, 5.5. Nationals, 7. Cincinnati, 7. Mets, 10 games back. American League picture of the season ended today. Tampa Bay Rays and Chicago White Sox. Excuse me, hold on. Tampa Bay Rays and Chicago White Sox, they'll be in getting the top 2 seeds. They'll be having a bye. Astros win the American League West. They're in. Yankees, top spot in the wild card. Boston, second spot. Twins, they're in, baby. 63-65. That's good enough. Toronto, half a game back. Texas, half a game back from them as well. Cleveland, 1 game back. Baltimore, 1.5. Detroit, 1.5. Seattle, 3. Kansas City, you're under 10 games. You're now 8.5 back after winning those 5 games in a row. We'll shout you out. You also seem to have a chance in the wild card race right now. The only two teams that are pretty much out of it, the Angels and the Athletics. Not a surprise there, of course. One of the two worst franchises in baseball. I think that's all we got, guys, for the MLB. I do believe that's all we have. Now let's look into the upcoming series for the Braves in our next segment.
It's time for your Braves forecast.
It's time for the Braves forecast, where we take a look at the upcoming Braves series. And again, that's a series that starts tomorrow, Friday, against the best team in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers. The Braves won 2 of 3 last time these two ball clubs met in June. That was down at Truist Park. So the Braves currently lead the season series at 2-1. The schedule goes as follows. Tomorrow's game, August 21st, Friday, scheduled for 4:10 p.m. Saturday, August 22nd, is going to be at 2:10 p.m. And then Sunday's game, it's going to be the Little League Classic. It'll be shown on ESPN. First pitch is scheduled for 7:10 p.m. That's going to be fun to see. That's going to be fun for the kids, man. That'll be awesome for them to see the two major league ball clubs out there. A lot of the players they look up to. It sounds like an awesome, very awesome experience for them to experience, be there live in person and experience. Of course, it's an experience. So you can experience it. Anyways, the expected pitching matchups for the series. Game 1, it's supposed to be Chris Sale against Jacob the Miz Mizorowski. Talk about aces. You got them in Game 1. Game 2, Saturday, Bryce Jekyll and Hyde Elder going up against Logan Henderson. And then Martin Perez versus Kyle Harrison. Of course, all the matchups, especially the later ones, remain subject to change. So don't quote me on that. Yeah, but that's what we have. Friday's matchup, of course, like I said, you got the two aces. That's going to be a must watch. Jacob Mizorowski, 12-5 with a 1.75 ERA and more than 200 strikeouts already for the season. You know, that fastball averages around 100 miles per hour and can reach up to 104. So hopefully the Braves are, swinging away at that pitching machine, trying to, put that pitching machine to imitate that speed, imitate I forgot the word. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I don't even know what the wind up or whatever, emulate the same way that Jacob Mizorowski pitches. Hopefully they're able to be successful there with that. Chris Sale, he gives the Braves the best opportunity against the Miz, but they need to provide some offensive support for the guy, man. He goes out there, he be holding it down all by his lonesome. The Braves offense sometimes does not back him up, man. We need to back him up. You got to score for the guy, man. You got to score for him. But we'll see what kind of game it's going to be. Sometimes when you have two aces, you think, it's going to be a low-scoring game, and then, the offenses just blow up, and it's a high-scoring game. So we'll see what kind of game we get tomorrow. Milwaukee, by the way, remember they just came off of that crazy victory against the Seattle Mariners, the historic win they had over them on Tuesday, 22-0 win, which was crazy. There was a clip going around. Julio Rodriguez, I think it was 19-0 at that point, or 20-0. He forgot. He thought it was 3 outs already after catching a fly ball. It was the second out of the game. He ends up throwing the ball to the stands. Another run comes in for the Brewers. I think it was a 20th or 21st run that came in. It was just that kind of ball game. But yeah, so they had a big victory on Tuesday. The Milwaukee Brewers did. So we'll see. Hopefully they don't bring that sort of offense into this series. But again, the Braves, what they got to do in this series, you got to survive that high velocity by Mizorowski. Please try not to foul behind constantly in the count. Then you're going to be chasing that fastball, trying to handle that triple-digit velocity with 2 strikes is not going to be easy. You got to produce with the runners in scoring position, guys. You have to produce with the runners in scoring position. as you saw in the Twins series, that was pretty much what led to the getting swept by them. Because against Mizorowski, you might only get a chance or two, a legitimate chance or two to score. Not even just Mizorowski, the whole entire pitching staff for the Brewers. Brewers are the best team in baseball, guys. They're the best team in baseball. Now, are they going to be killing it in the playoffs? Who knows? But the way they've been constructed, and I don't know how they do it because they have different people, different players come in, and they still able to pull it off. But the way that whatever system they have in place, especially the last two years, they're constructed favorably for the long haul, for the long season. Now, once it gets into the playoffs, it's a different story. But the way they're constructed for the season, they're doing a phenomenal job. So, again, you might have only 1 or 2, 3 chances to legitimately score in a ball game against these guys. So you got to take advantage of it when you have runners in scoring position. You got to keep Milwaukee from controlling the first inning. You have to. Don't let them get out to an early lead. Then you're going to be falling behind, trying to catch up again. That's not going to help. Hopefully the Braves are able to get some length from Chris Sale. You probably will. But hopefully from Elder. You got to get a good start by him. We'll see what happens, though. But that's pretty much what to keep an eye out for in this weekend series. But again, you gotta be careful with the Phillies creeping back up. It's just you don't want to have a stretch like you did in June again. Remember, right before the All-Star break, the lead went down to like 2.5. Was it 2.5 or 2 games, something like that? When you had it up to like 10 or 10.5. So the Phillies are capable of getting hot. We've seen it. Everything starts clicking for them, and very streaky team. So you got to stop them now. Excuse me. And the only way to stop that is by controlling what you can control, and is winning your ball games. Guys, that's all we have. Every time I'm yapping for so long, I get that little tickle in my throat, unfortunately. That's what you hear me sounding all crazy. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you're looking at the video version, shout out to my barber, Eddie Rosado, bro. My boy cooked today. Look at that. And if you're listening to the audio and you're like, what is this guy talking about? Go to YouTube, bro. Go to YouTube right now. My boy cooked. He cooked with his haircut. Shout out to Eddie Rosado. He actually, I don't know if he wanted me to say this or not, but he actually cut Lindor's hair. He's cut Francisco Lindor's hair. So my guy's official, bro. My guy's official. Check him out. And you're in the CT area. Best barber in the CT, hands down. Hands down, best barber in CT. Look at the beard, bro. Look at that. That's crazy. That's crazy, guys. Anyways, one last reminder. Again, if you're going to any event, a show, a sporting event, a concert, go to SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSY20. Once you plug that code in, it's going to help you save $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it all through this show, we appreciate it. Who was it that won again? The 4 You Love on Instagram. Congratulations for winning the giveaway tickets to the Braves game on August 30th. You have 24 hours to claim your ticket, to claim your prize. 24 hours after this episode is posted. Hopefully you're able to tune into the show. Hopefully, if you're not tuned in, maybe somebody hits you up and, somebody's a good Samaritan and says, hey, you won the tickets. Reach out to Vic so you could claim them. You got 24 hours to do so. If not, if a good Samaritan doesn't come up, and if you didn't listen to the show and a good Samaritan doesn't come up, we're going to do the Wheel of Names once again. So, again, congrats to you. Hopefully you hit me up. If not, we're going to go on to the next one. And then if it comes down to the final day before the game is actually played and nobody claims them, I guess I'll just take a flight down there and watch the game myself. Anyway, that's all we got for this episode. Have a safe weekend, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time on The Chop Seat.